The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Randy Richter, Director of Technology Solutions, partner at ATS. Looking at the list of attendees, I think I know all of you pretty much, and it's great to see a good group on here today. What we're really going to focus on today is the list of... Hello everyone and welcome. This is Randy Richter from ATS, Director of Technology Solutions and partner at ATS. I see most of the names on this list. I know most of you, so good to have friends here on the line. Today we're going to go over some of the major functionality released in the September 2014 version of the ATS Online Marketplace. This is going to include some of the things we've done, even in the minor releases throughout between the major releases. And just kind of giving everybody, I see a couple people jumping on here real quick. Give a couple people a minute. We'll give one more minute here. If you do have a question, please type it into the question box and I'll try to answer it. Right now, everybody will be muted. And as soon as we have some time, we'll be happy to unmute you, be able to ask any questions or add commentary if you want. But right now, I do have everybody muted. So we'll go ahead and move forward. First of all, I always want to emphasize this, how we handle the releases. The ATS Online Marketplace, we do major releases, and those are scheduled for approximately every 3 months. We had a major release in June, a major release in September, we'll get a major release in December. And in between them, we'll do what we'll call minor releases. Those are things that maybe there's a bug in something, maybe there's a piece of functionality that is just an enhancement that really has to get out there and really get in there quick. Sometimes those will be put in the minor releases, but we try to hold off the big things for the major releases, as those take more time to do quality control and assurance before we ship them out. But again, major releases every 3 months and minor releases every week or two, or 2 to 3 weeks. Well, I've had a few questions about this, and I want to bring it up that when we used to use the word patch, I mean, it is a full upgrade, even though we might have just fixed 5 little things or added 5 little things. It is really a replacement of all the files in your server with the new version that matches that version. So that's really important. We do have a new way to show what version you're on, which is always helpful to us. When we're trying to figure out if you have a bug or something and whether that has been fixed or not. All the release notes are online of all the bugs and whatnot, so that's always a good place to check as well to see if maybe something in your experience has already been taken care of or corrected. Okay. Well, just want to go through some of the major enhancements here. I promise I won't keep you the full hour or anything. We'll try to keep this to 30, 45 minutes. But the enhancements, major ones here, for us allows the ability to edit a registration for iMIS 20.1 and clients. And that functionality lets you, we'll go into that in a little more detail, show you that, but lets people come back and edit the registrations. The reason it's not available in earlier versions is because iMIS doesn't support it in their APIs. iMIS just started supporting that in later versions, so now the system will auto-sense what version of iMIS you're on, and that feature will be turned on, and it'll let you change and edit those registrations. Some other things that have happened are, for example, the ability to set the maximum number of bestsellers, featured items, and newest items. I think that came in through idea scale, perhaps. That was a situation where, maybe your newest, you don't have a lot of newest items, and you only want to show the 2 or 3 newest, and it used to be set to always show the 10 newest items. And so this is a way for you to control on a case-by-case for bestsellers, featured items, and newest items, which and how many you want to show. We've had some requests for coupons. We have some new requests coming, some new things coming up in future versions, but we have some requests. Again, this was through Idea Scale, so which is the ability to restrict a coupon to a ship to ID. So that lets you predetermine, who can use that coupon. That would let you, if you had a member that, really had a bad experience at a conference or something, and you want to give them a free conference coupon to use at a conference, 100% off, kind of conference, then you could create a coupon specifically for that person, give that person that coupon, and only they can use it. In fact, only if they're registering themselves for an event, or it could be for a book, or it could be dues for something like that. But it is a way to restrict a coupon so that only the ID that it's issued to can use that coupon. Another item is we did allow for coupons for subscriptions now. So if you have, used to be that we didn't allow for subscriptions, now we do. I know that question's come in. So the subscription items can now be, that would be if you're going to buy a journal separately, so people can join and renew, but in maybe mid-year they want to buy a journal subscription, or you're selling journals specifically to the public at large. So now you can put a coupon on that to promote that. There's the ability to resend confirmation letters. That, again, I think was another request from Idea Scale that came in, but the ability to resend confirmation letters to everybody, right? So currently, if you go to the confirmation letter management system, before this version, you could only send the confirmation letter to those people who had not previously received it. Well, now, let's say, for example, that you have some major change or something, you just want to tell people 2 weeks before the conference and resend the confirmation letter, even make a special letter. You can go in and edit your template, edit your confirmation letter template, and then there's an option on who to send it to say send it to everybody, even if they receive that old confirmation letter. And that is a good way to handle things like a change in a venue or a nightly event, or don't forget to do this, or things like that. The other one that we're doing is the ability to record in iMIS the ID number of the person that registered somebody else. Now, again, that's a new feature that iMIS has provided for. There is a new field in iMIS 20.1 and above that will let you record who registered. So Randy registered Laura, so it will record on there that Randy actually did that registration. That's important because at the end of the process when you check out, now we know that Randy, who made the purchase, is authorized to see that receipt. In some cases, and this is another feature we added recently, was the ability to specify a company ID as the bill to ID. So I could actually set up the system so that Randy, all orders are billed to ATS, and Randy registers Laura. Well, in that case, on the registration, the bill to ID is ATS, the ship to ID is Laura, and there was not until recently a place to put who actually did that registration. And now in 20.1 and above, there is a ability, a field to put it in there, and so we are actually putting that field in there. A question did come in on one of my comments here. Where does the iMIS ID of someone who registers someone else get stored? That is exactly where that is now in 20.1 and up. There's a, and I think it's, I think it's called registered by ID is the iMIS table field name, and that's where that's stored. Okay. So feel free again to post any questions in there that you want. All right, some enhancements that have happened since the June release, because I think these are important, because we don't do these kind of webinars on every little release. I wanted to talk about these enhancements that have come since our last webinar. One is passkey integration. So now, for those users in passkey, you may not be familiar with passkey, but passkey is think of it as a housing bureau, a Travelocity or Expedia, where you can pick your hotels and what room nights you're going and what's available and different rates. So that is now integrated into the ATS Online Marketplace, that when you check out on your receipts, you can have a link, and when you click on the link, we'll pre-send that information about the person, including what room blocks they're eligible for, over to passkey. So say, for example, you let exhibitors register and you through the online marketplace, and you let your regular attendees, but they have different room blocks they can pick from. With the passkey integration, now you have to have a separate contract with passkey to manage that. But with that integration, you can actually like you said, designate the room block. You could actually have a room block for board members. If you wanted your board members to get in the VIP room block, that is all managed through the integration from the ATS Online Marketplace into passkey. The use company pricing, I talked about a little bit ago, and the ability to set the bill to ID. Use company pricing is something that we had not had in there before, but it is now. If you have that option checked in iMIS, then it will look at the pricing, basically member, non-member pricing, based on the status of the company. So let's say that in your iMIS database, your companies are members or non-members, and all your individuals are always non-members. Well, now it will look and say, if you have that checked, it'll say, hey, is the company a member? If so, give this person member pricing even though they're a non-member. So that's something that's in there. One of the things that we've done recently that's in one of these releases is the ability to customize subject lines on all receipts. So instead of saying order receipt, you can now customize it and use like a word merge feature to specify what words go on the subject lines. For example, first name, last name, company number, company name, order number of items purchased, the names of the items, and it's really through like I said, a word merge type feature that you can customize those on for orders, for dues, even on an event by event basis. You can customize it where for events, one webinar gets this kind of subject line in the receipt and this other one gets a different one. So that's all in there. One of the features we've added recently that I think is really going to be important to a lot of folks is the immediate add to cart. So from anywhere on my website, I can make a button that says, are you interested in the salary survey for 2014? Click here. And we have in the documentation that's provided that we provide, it shows you how to build a URL that if you point that button at that URL, it will add that item to the cart and it will take the person immediately to the checkout page. So that's a feature that we have where you can highlight something on your home page, in a banner ad. You can even do it for conference registrations. Now the person's still going to have to log in, and after log in, it might say, hey, you're already registered. It might need to be removed from your cart. And the question did just come in: do you have to be logged in to add the cart feature? The answer is no. But again, when you log in, it may say you're not eligible to buy that book. As an example, there's a feature in the store to say only people with certification level 2 can buy this manual. If you have your add to cart button, maybe the person adds it in, it's in as an anonymous user, but when that person actually logs in, it's going to say, I'm sorry, you're not eligible. Some items have been removed from your cart due to this reason. You're not eligible to buy this product. And so it will take care of it before they check out after they log in, so you can add things even though people are not logged in. And again, a lot of ways. We have one client, I think it's using that with IQA queries, where you can make an IQA query of all the things you might want to buy, and you click add to cart off that IQA query, and it takes you right to the checkout. We have what we'll call customized dues criteria now, meaning that for those of you that are using the join and renew, those of you that are familiar with it, there's what's your starting member type, your starting billing category, your starting status, your starting category. Well, sometimes we found with some clients that isn't adequate. In other words, only people that can join or renew this particular thing. I think of an example that only people that can join as this particular type of student have to have been nominated, and they have some other criteria in iMIS that indicate they're nominated. So just because they're a student member or student non-member currently, an active student non-member, doesn't mean they can join as that new member type. And you can set up a SQL view to determine which ID numbers, which people get to add or renew as, join or renew as that particular thing. In doing that, you really have the ability to make any criteria you want of who can join as what member types beyond our standard member, what's the beginning member type, billing category, and status. You can still use that, and for those of you that have simpler dues, that'll still work as it always did. This is just a new feature that will add to let you add more criteria to that. We also have the ability when you're joining or renewing now to add required fields. One of the use cases we've had for this is that when people join, right now when you join or renew, for example, there's no check to say, do you have an email address on file? Well, maybe that is a very, very critical thing. that you have an email address on file, and that's one of your requirements. So during the join process, you can, it's in the documentation how to do this, you can stop the person and say whatever message you want. For example, I'm sorry, but you can't continue at this point because it appears you don't have an email address on file. Please click here to go edit your profile and complete your profile with your email address, and then you'll be able to finish this join renew process. So the link will take them to the profile where there you can add a, require your email. If you're required to do the email, then that really helps you push people through the edit profile process to answer any kind of questions. Another use case for this is you might have by default for your members, or for people that come to your website to want to buy a book, you only ask for a few things: first name, last name, email, address. But if you want to become a member, you have to indicate your profession, your years of experience. Maybe even you have something that requires them to upload a transcript to be a student. In using this criteria, you can check for any of that criteria and make sure that the person has that stuff documented before they add it to their cart. Okay. One other feature I'm going to add in here, that since I'm talking about dues that's not in here, is we have had the situation where sometimes people will add dues to their cart and then they don't check out. And then the price goes up, or proration rates change because they switch from month to month to month. And if you use proration, the amount they pay may change per month based on your proration rules. So there's also a feature in there now that will, if it's been enough time, typically 30 days, if it's the next month where that month will affect their pricing and the calculation of their dues, it will give them a nice message saying, I'm sorry, the dues have been removed from your cart. You need to go back through the process. And then when they go back through the process, it'll recalculate those pricing. All right, so that's how that, another way that can keep people from putting it in their cart, leaving it in there for 3 years, and then checking out later on something like dues. There was a question that came in back to the view. Can you have more than one view for the dues criteria? Well, you can. The answer is no, but you can make a different view per member type, per dues item. So you could say, students, we're going to look at this criteria, and when a professional, we're going to look at this criteria, and emeritus, maybe you have a retired member that they've got to have an age greater than 65, and if you don't have their age on file, you can stop it. So you can have a different view for each kind of criteria in the store, but one per criteria type. Okay? Other things that have come up recently, not allowing people to view downloads if the order's canceled. That is, let's put this in maybe to the bug category.
No one can hear you.
Put this on hold a second. You
No
can't
one
hear it all?
No one can hear you. Your sound
When
is
did it stop? Did it stop?
like about a minute ago.
Are you on through the mic or are you through telephone?
No, through the telephone. Everybody stand by just a second. Yeah, let me
Yeah, you can do it in here.
testing 1, 2, 3.
No, I can't hear you. Oh, you're on mute though.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
We're off the phone now. You're on your mic and speakers.
Is your mic working?
I can't hear you.
Is your mic working?
I
Use your
don't-
microphone.
Well, let me go unmute me.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. Hopefully you can hear me now. And if I can get somebody chat with me that they can actually hear me. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I switched phones and we're in good shape now. Okay, so the other thing we're talking about is ability. I was on the ability to require fields before joining and renewing, and I think I answered the question on that one. Next, as I said, this could maybe be a bug or a feature. I mean, probably a bug, but we used to let people, after they, if they had electronic download, they could continue to download that even if they cancel the order. So now if you cancel the order, you won't be able to download it anymore. So if that gets canceled in the back office or something, you won't be able to download it, that document. And another one that's really, I think, pretty helpful here is the ability to know more about why a transaction might got voided. Some of it we've talked to you about this before, where somebody goes in and the credit card is done. We do an authorize on the credit card for, let's say, $100, and then something happens in iMIS to blow up iMIS. So we do a void on the credit card because something in iMIS didn't work right. Well, before that was kind of blind. The person would get a message on the screen, but staff didn't know about it. So now staff can actually get an email of exactly what happened or what the error was. Hopefully it's a useful message, but it's definitely something that can be used as a debugging tool. You know, if it's a setting in iMIS, then you can adjust that. If it's something that we've done, if it's something in the code, then at least it's a debugging tool for us. Okay, so that's a little bit about that one. Let me talk specific about the edit registration. I'll try to go through this and catch everybody up on this. So the edit registration allows you to add functions, but does not let you remove functions. To date, and that's an issue and some of the limitation of the iMIS, meaning that what do you do, and probably the reason that this isn't implemented yet, because what do you do if there's a wait list? What would you do if there's a refund due? So at the moment, we're supporting similar functionality in iMIS that we're letting you add functions and edit guest badges. We will, you can set this as a setting wide to say whether or not you want to allow or disallow this ability. Some people might say, we don't want to let people edit registrations. It will let you edit the guest badges of names that you've entered in. So that is a case where somebody could be, let's say they don't know who's going to be at their table of 8. Where they're going to buy a table, they could put in TBD and pay for those tickets, and then they come back later and actually put those names in. Same thing for exhibitors as well. If you're doing exhibitor registration for the online marketplace for a 10 by 10 booth, and you don't know who the names of other people, you can use this feature and come back in later and edit the guest badges, and they could put their names in later of those people. And we do have some enhanced register somebody else functionality. I'm going to jump off to the store real quick and show you some of this functionality here. Let me go back to the store home. I happen to be logged in as somebody, and in the interest of time, I'm going to zip through this. One of the things I don't know if we mentioned, I think it was in the June release. If you weren't on the June release, you'll see here, I had done a search. There is a pagination now in the search results. So you can control how many search results come in there. All right, so I'm registered. I'm logged in right now as record 333. A person, and I see this event here. So question come in, let me read this question. Yeah, the question is this a system-wide or is it meeting by meeting? At the moment, it's system-wide to let people edit registrations or not. You can't say on this meeting edit registrations and on this meeting not. We're definitely looking at doing that if that's of value to the community. Be a great idea to put on idea scale. We just weren't sure if people needed or wanted that yet, so it's not in that feature, but that could be added. So a couple things on the edit registration. I'm already logged in. I've already registered for this event. I could edit my registration, and you'll see that the things I can't unregister for are already checked out here. Are already there, and you can change the style. We happen to pick this color. That's completely controllable in your style sheet, so you can change the color and the background and everything else you want there. But you'll see I've got a guest registrations and I got a conference registration. Now maybe I want to register for the pre-conference seminar. So a couple things I can do. One, I could just edit my guest badges, and I can say, well, gosh, instead of registering and bring in Randy, we're going to edit this and put in somebody else's name. And I'm going to change that to Tim Sloan. I'm going to update that guest, and that, the way this works is that updated it in iMIS immediately. So when I hit save, it's updated in iMIS. If you're going to look at the iMIS record, you don't have to check out. You don't have to do anything with that. Okay. So the next one I'm going to go ahead and do is add a function here. I'm going to go ahead and click pre-conference seminar. Now I notice it's $150. So now when I add it to my cart, it's only going to add the $150 item. And there it is. So if I were to check out, and I've already checked out earlier, you know, and bought this, but they're going to check out for $150. Now I check out, and it's only going to charge me the delta difference of the new functions that I've registered for. Okay, So I do see a question here about no money items. At this point, you can add no money items, but again, due to some restrictions in the IBOs and the iMIS business objects, they don't allow us to delete items yet in this version. So that is definitely something that we want to have happen, and we're pushing for that and pushing for ways to do that. But you can add $0 functions, you cannot remove. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to charge the credit card for $150. Back to this. And there was a problem, and we had an error. So I apologize for that. Great demo there of that feature. I will show you on another record how that works. But that's exactly, it does work. I just added something earlier, no problem. Now, there was a question on other functions like QSTO functions. Again, iMIS isn't letting us delete functions at this time. But we can have it that if you use the survey question manager, that you can change the answers in those. All right. So let's say your golf handicap was 14 and for the golf tournament, and you want to change your golf handicap to 10, you could go do that. Okay. So it'll just charge the delta. We just set this meeting up. I apologize for that error. We just set this meeting up a few minutes before we came in here, and we'll figure out what's going on with that. But that said, on the register somebody else, I want to show you this functionality real quick. On the register somebody else now, we have some new features. We had this question about, and this was an idea scale thing, about having too many names on the table. Somebody on a page, some people have hundreds of people in an organization. So we do have the ability with pagination now in here, and a search filter. Now you can, by default, pictures are turned off, but you can even turn on pictures so that you can see their picture right out of iMIS. All right. So if I'm going to go register Isaac Oliveras, it's very typical here. I'm going to say we're going to register just for the conference, add it to the cart. He's added to the cart. Now if I go to register somebody else, we'll see that Isaac Oliveras is already added to the cart. Now you can change the color of these. You can make edit registrations green and one red and one yellow. That's really completely up to you on how you want to do that. Okay. All right. So that's how the edit registration feature works. Now notice it's still in the cart here. Let me just to prove out that it will work. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you one more thing. I guess I'm going to show you here where I can search for just the people named Randy and or Richter or a part of the word, and it will automatically filter the people to just that list of people in the database. Okay. And there it is. Now I went right to the registration. All right. So let me go ahead and that's how the registration stuff works. Let me go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Hear me okay? There was a little bit of echo I heard. I just want to know if everybody can hear me okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, thanks. Because there was a little echo there, and I think we took care of the echo. Thank you so much, everybody. Back to the PowerPoint presentation. What's next? What are some of the things we've got coming up? Well, I always ask you to look inside of Idea Scale to see if there's anything in Idea Scale that, we do look at that. A number of the items that were in the Idea Scale have been handled. Also, some of the paid enhancements that are coming up. Google e-commerce analytics, which are going to let you use the Google e-commerce analytics to track what people were looking at.
You were gone. I don't hear you.
And testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me now? Okay. Sounds like you can. All right, great. So other enhancements are the Google e-commerce analytics, where you can track what's in carts, and you can track what's in the cart and what people check out with. PayPal Express is going to be added so that you can check out with PayPal Express. And for those of you that don't want to have your credit cards in iMIS, that's a new feature that's coming here really, really soon. And then some new bridge misspelled integrations. Thank you, Doug Morris, for pointing that out. So I did this spell checker didn't check it, but we are now integrating a few new integrations. One of them is Peach New Media. While we've had a bridge, it will be integrated to the store shortly. Some new features to the Digitech Digital Ignite bridge. We do have, we're looking at Beacon Live integration along with Eon Direct and a few others. So those bridge integrations are going to help you sell webinars a lot better inside of iMIS. So there's a question that come up there. The PayPal Express, does that assume that the client is on iMIS 20 plus? Actually, we're not going to require that you be on iMIS 20. That is something that we can do outside of iMIS 20. So those clients on iMIS 10 and iMIS 15 will be able to use that. Okay. And that is currently being worked on. It should be in QA in, weeks. But we expect to do this as one of our minor releases before the major release in December. Okay. With that, to schedule your upgrade, send an email to help@atsol.org, and we can definitely do that upgrade. I did just want to see if there's other questions that have come up, other concerns, other things that people want to show. One of the questions that came up is, can ATS host a webinar to go over the store admin best practices? Yeah, that's a great idea. We'd love to be able to do that. Not that we love to be able, we will do that, where we can show you some of the administrative stuff. I will jump over to the store real quick because you said that. I'm going to go to the administrator here real quick. So you'll notice one of the things that's really nice now in this store administrator is it tells you what version you're on. And now this will tell you the exact version. Now this version on this database is September patch 1, and it's something we're currently working on. So this is just a little bit newer than what we're releasing. What we're offering right now is September. The first release, minor release, is QA's finishing up, and then patch 2 or minor release 2 is probably expected maybe as soon as next week. So those are this tells you where the releases are. But if we go in, and I'm gonna go ahead and log in here. Another place you can see this is this little pop-up window here shows you what version you're on, and that's really important if you want to know what's been released or if a bug's been fixed since that time. Okay. So do make sure you look at these reports inside of here, like your product reports, your customer reports. We'll do a webinar on this as has been requested, but things like we're seeing this recently, invalid HTML that's blowing up a page. If somebody has some invalid HTML on a particular product code, this will show you what that is. Another one that kind of tools that help you debug, I'll show you one more example here, is under events. You can put in anybody's ID number under this event audits and tasks, and go down here, go back up here. Check registration classes. We'll show you all the registration classes for every event that a person will pay. So right now I'm logged, if it's 285, they will be a non-member on all events. Okay. So the other one more that we're wanted to show you real quick since we're in here is the confirmation letter delivery. And under there is the ability to send the email to all attendees again. And my design here is blown out a little bit, but here you can review and send, or the reprint, to reprint and send that letter to everybody that's registered, all 4 people. Okay. So that's a little bit more about that. I'll not take this too long. Any other questions or comments or things people want to share? And John, I just unmuted you because you raised your hand. Did you have a question? Okay, no problem. So a question just come up, would you have the ability to resend a confirmation letter to a specific person? Well, actually, you do. Let me show you how I would do that. If I'm logged in and I say, gosh, I want to send a confirmation letter for person 333, and that's their ID number, I can come in here and impersonate that person. Okay. And it says I'm already logged in as 333. I'd impersonate that person. Then I can go to the store home. I could view previous orders. And there's a resend confirmation letter button right there. And there I can hit the confirmation letter, I can print it, or I can email it to them. And hit the button and email it to them. Okay. If the event is passkey enabled, and not all events are passkey enabled, but you'll see a little hotel icon here where people can get their hotel room. Here's a question: can you show how dues receipts subject lines are customized? Well, dues receipts are right now, the receipts are not customizable, but the subject lines are. Okay, just to make sure on that question that come up. So inside the setup, you can set those up. Excuse me. Those are in the store administrator. Is that the question? How the receipt subject lines are customized? Okay, let me go into that section. Typed in the URL wrong. And let's go into, yeah, where's the, I'm sorry, I got to ask for some support.
Maintenance.
Oh, it's under maintenance, all right. So the question is, we're really looking for the ability to completely customize the dues receipts, but you'll put that in idea scale. Yeah, I think we'd be really open to doing something similar to what we do on event confirmation letters, where you can do whatever you want there with those. So there's no reason we couldn't take that and go further on that. The receipt subject lines are actually not set up in this database, but there is a general lookup table that will show you that the instructions that says how to set up the receipts and do merging on them. But okay, so this database doesn't have to be set up with that.
They're looking at like a super receipt.
So there was a question that come from Todd. I may have missed this, but is there a combined receipt in this version, or are they still separate by product? They are separate. There's a few challenges with that. Again, this is something we could add, but let's take that example where you are registering 5 people. Each person really needs to get, that you're registering, needs to get their own confirmation letter / receipt for their particular thing and not see everybody else's. So really we're talking about a super receipt for the person doing the ordering that shows that. So, it's almost, you're talking about a statement of everything they did. So if I made 2 purchases at one time, here I down here bought this book. I might have bought something else on March 6th as well. In that case, you might, I think what we're looking for is a receipt that shows that. Now, currently in iMIS, if we go back a week later and say, print me that, quote, super receipt, there's really no way in iMIS to tie all the orders together that came in at that same second. Doesn't mean we couldn't come up with a process to do that. So let me approach it this way. It is not in there today. It is relatively straightforward for us to put them all on the screen this one time, but after that, you wouldn't be able to come back and pull all that together. In addition, the super receipt, as we were talking, would be for the person doing the entering, but you would still have to send individualized receipts to each person that you're buying something on behalf of. Okay. Other questions on that or anything else? Okay. I'm going to go show you. You feel free to put a question. I'm going to show you where the documentation is at. Okay. And give me just a second to pull it up here. Go back to the store homepage while that's pulling it up. And maybe it's my computer today. Between my audio and everything else, I really do apologize for the audio problems today. But we do have, under the online marketplace, under products, under the online marketplace, we have the current release notes, and we also have the, Go to this current release notes. That shows you what the current information is. And of course, you could do the demonstration. We have went through a Windows certification process, and this application is Windows certified now. Okay, so under here are the release notes, everything that's on here and what's happened. So we can come down to September 2014, and we can see all the changes. The enhancements, the resolved issues. You'll see there's a lot of other things in here, like if you want to change the label for payment and use a different word, you can do that. We have some clients in that want English/French, and so now you can change a lot more labels than you used to be able to change. In addition, for our clients, we don't have it published for the world at large. It's kind of a security by obscurity a little bit on this one. Is the complete user's manual is available at www.atsol.org/omdocs. And in the email that you got announcing the upgrade, this link was in there. We just don't have it linked. Not that it's a big deal, but pretty good manual. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. And so it's available right here. There's a documentation to see everything. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you too long. It's been about 45 minutes. Any questions? All right. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you, everyone, for attending. Again, sorry about the audio problems. That said, we got a great new release here. We got new things coming. Make sure you post your postings to idea scale of ideas that you have. And if you're ready for an upgrade, send it to help@atsol.org, and we'll get it scheduled for you. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of the day.